When did you stop being bound by those sorts of contractual obligations that were directing you more in the specifically commercial direction?
It's been probably 6 or 7 years at this point, and the way that relationship began to unravel was, for a long time, I played their game. You know, people think Nashville, Tennessee that's all the good country boys and girls, you know? And what they don't realize is Music Row, Nashville, Tennessee, it's owned by basically the same big three companies that own Hollywood. It's Sony, Universal, and Warner Brothers. And between those big three conglomerates, you got 90% of every record label wrapped up there. So it's the same ideology of the Hollywood companies, just now in Nashville. And so because of that, the presidents of those labels, the head of their A&R departments, now not all of them, but most of them that are in charge, it was coming down to me that, hey, we really don't want you to go on that network. We really don't want you to talk about that subject. We really don't want you to post about this. Hey, John, we need to have a meeting. This is too controversial. And I played that game with him for a while because, you know, you got a lot on the line there, man. I mean, you've been working at this your whole life. You've got records coming out. You got band and light guys and sound guys and bus drivers and, you know, all kinds of people's income depend on you maintaining your career. And so I played that game for a little while, but at one point it got to the point where I said, you know what? My two sons were getting old enough to really start paying attention to me. They're 14 and 12 now. At this point, they were probably 7 and 9. And I said, well, what kind of example is that for me to set for these boys? I mean, I'm going to sit here and rant and rail against the system and how bad it is, but then I'm going to shut my mouth and put on my gear and walk down the red carpet with these people and go in here and do what they're telling me to do. So at that point I said, so my integrity is for sale and my freedom of speech apparently is for sale. It has a price tag because that's the game I'm playing right now. And when my boys got old enough where I realized they saw what I was doing, it hit me really hard, man. I mean, really hard, because if it's this bad for me, what's it going to be like for my boys when they grow up and leave? They're going to run right into the buzzsaw, and their blueprint is, well, how did Dad handle it? Well, Dad just rolled over and kept taking the paychecks, what Dad did, so I guess that's the right way to do it. I said, yeah, we're not going to let that happen. So we broke away from that system, broke away from the record labels, the publishing companies, and all those levers of power that exist over music. Now, because of that, I've never had another hit song at country radio. I've never had another song that, you know, blew up like that, like some of our big career songs. But the inverse of that is the people out there, the American people that know I don't have that system in place behind me anymore. If I give them content that strikes them, whatever that is, if it moves them, here they come. And I would say that I think that the amount of support I have today out there amongst just the general public as compared to back when I had a record deal has multiplied 300 or 400%. I mean, I wouldn't go back for anything in the world. Never. And so as far as freedom goes, Dr. Peterson, I've never been more free to do what I want to do than I am right now. And I will say that a song like Revelation, like I said before, if I still had a contract like that, you guys would have never heard it. And to me, that is disconnecting, that is short-circuiting what God's plan is for me and for the abilities he's given me and the talent and the opportunities he's given me. If I'm still connected to some nasty record label that doesn't believe in what I'm doing and what I'm saying, that can stop that, well, that had to go away. Even though at the time I hated to lose it because I knew how powerful that is and I'd been in it my whole life. But it wasn't too long after that, a matter of weeks, that I realized, wow, I'm actually free at this point. I'm actually a free man. I can say whatever I want, sing whatever I want, promote it however I want to. And that led, to answer your question from earlier, that led to, yes, my songwriting, my artistry, and what I want to do literally became wide open at that point. I could do whatever I wanted to do, which brought us to this song, Revelation.